everybody, it's Big Mama, and today I want to teach y'all how to make what's called pool hall chili. Now this chili has no beans, it's actually boiled, and it is what's used for chili cheeseburgers and chili cheese fries and chili cheese dogs. Down here in the South, almost every little community used to have a pool hall where you could go and get chili cheeseburgers and chili cheese fries. So let me show you what you're going to need to start with. You're going to need a pot, of course, to cook it in. It's important. You're going to need some ground beef. We're going to do a small batch, so we're just going to use 1 pound of ground beef for this. You need salt and pepper, ketchup, mustard, chili powder. You'll need a 1 cup measuring cup, a 1/3 cup measuring cup, measuring spoons, a 1/4 cup measuring cup, and you'll need 2 spoons of flour. Now this can be self-rising flour, which is what I have, or plain flour, either one. And you'll also need some water. Starting with impeccably clean hands, we're going to measure out 2 cups of this ground beef. 2 cups of ground beef equals 1 pound. So if you don't have a scale, this is a good way to measure. So there is 1, and here is 2. Now, once you get your ground beef into your pot, you're gonna add water to cover this, barely cover, and we're gonna measure this water. So, ooh, there goes it everywhere. There's 1 cup, 2 cups. Let's go ahead and put 3 cups of water into here. Now this seems gross, but this is very important. You take this meat and you want to use your hand and you want to squish it. Just like this. Into small, small pieces. This is how you get the texture correctly on this pool hall chili. So any big bits, and really there's no other tool to use except your hands. You can't do it with a meat smasher, you can't do it with a mixer, you just have to do it with your hands. And it's going to come out looking just like that. So we're going to go ahead and put that on the stove and get it started to boil. And yes, it looks absolutely disgusting when it first starts cooking, but trust the process. It is absolutely delicious when it's done. All right, this has been on the stove for 10 minutes and it is done. We do not drain this, we do not strain this. Now we're going to add in 3 tablespoons of chili powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of black pepper. Stir that in. Now we're also going to add in a 1/3 cup of ketchup. And these are simple ingredients. Pool halls had to make this chili fast and cheaply. They didn't have hours and hours to do it in. This is 1/4 teaspoon, but this is 1/8 of a teaspoon of mustard. Tiny, tiny bit of just yellow mustard. All right. We're going to stir that in. Let it cook for just a few seconds to kind of meld everything together. To make your flour slurry for thickener, you add 1/4 cup of cold water to your 2 tablespoons of flour. And you're gonna take a fork or a little tiny whisk and you're gonna really, really, really mix this up good to try to get all the lumps out that you can. All right, everything is boiling nicely and it's time to add in our flour water slurry. So let's just pour that in. Stir quickly, and that's our thickener. And it's going to thicken pretty quickly. Now, if you like it thicker, you can always add a little bit more, but that's about the right ratio to this pot. This recipe can, you can scale it up. You can just make a huge pot of this. You can make it smaller if you need to. It freezes very, very well. So I'm going to let this cook a few minutes just to let that flour slurry do the trick. I might have to add another tablespoon of flour mixed in with 1/8 cup of water, but we'll see. All right, I am gonna add in 1 more tablespoon of flour mixed in with 1/8 cup of water, because I think it just needs to be a little bit thicker. Yeah, I think that did it. I'm just gonna cook it a little bit. The little bits on top, that's flour, and it'll cook down, so just cook it a little for a few minutes. Okay, this is just about 3 minutes later, and see how that flour has cooked on down and thickened up the chili. I'm gonna let it cook for just a few more minutes, and then it'll be done.